morning, everyone. Rick here. I am in downtown Augusta, Kansas, sitting on the corner of State and 6th Street. I'm here for the 30th annual WFO Guys Car Show. I didn't even know about this until like a month ago. I didn't even know they even had this. But I'm here, and the cars are pretty much already lined up. Looks like it goes down a couple of blocks. So I'm really excited to be here. Now, the actual car show does not start until 1 p.m. And it's like 10 till 9 now. However, I was told that you get here any time because they start lining up, and they're already here. And it's a beautiful, gorgeous morning. Very, very little wind, and right now there's no music or anything playing. Just had a bunch of loud motorcycles just go by. But that's okay. I'm here, and I'm going to start doing the video. I may take a break every now and then because it might turn out to be a long morning. I've got like, 4 hours before it officially starts. I don't know if I'll be here that long. If I get everything I need to get, and it looks like all the cars are in, I may not hang around that long. I don't know. Never been here before. Never been to this car show before. This first time for me here in Augusta, Kansas. It's Saturday morning. It is August 2nd, 2025. Yeah. So here we are. Come on along and join me as we explore and view these gorgeous, beautiful show cars this morning. So, come on along. Okay, guys, I'm back. Just got my tripod put up and everything. And again, I'm sitting right on the corner of 6th and State Street. State Street is the main street for Augusta, Kansas. I'm here for the 30th annual WFO Guys Car Show. Looks like it goes down about 3 blocks. So we're going to get started. See what's already here. Like I said in the intro, it does not start officially till 1 p.m. But you know, it just have to see how the morning goes. If I get everything done before 1 p.m., I may just go ahead and go. I don't know yet. Kind of a trial run here this morning. There's still people driving up and down State Street, and I thought that would have been blocked off. Maybe they're not going to block it off till 1 p.m. So we got to be careful because there's still vehicles traveling up and down there Main Street, otherwise known as State Street, here in Augusta, Kansas. And we do have more of these beautiful show cars coming in. Really nice. Making some adjustments to my selfie stick here. Want to get a smooth experience here this morning. So let's just get started. See, I really had no idea where I was going to park this morning, but I parked on side street, on 6th Street. So, oh, here's a Ford Mustang. Looks like it's got a for sale sign in it, in the windshield there. 64 and a half Ford Mustang with 38,000 miles, it says. Not that bad for being that old a vehicle. Not that bad at all. It's got the sunroof on it there. I don't know if that's was added on later. I don't know. It might not have been. Yeah, really, really nice. Okay. Here's a Vista Cruiser. Boy, that's really sharp. Boy, I like that. Look how spacious this thing is. My goodness, this make a good camping vehicle here. I mean, this is big. This is why they made them back in the day. Unlike our little SUV, it's barely big enough to even breathe in. But look at the size of that. My goodness gracious. Bet that drinks the gas, though. Vista Cruiser Oldsmobiles, they just don't make them like this anymore, unfortunately. That is classic. It is really nice. I just love that canopy there with the glass and all that. Those wheels are just beautiful. Beautiful car. Of course, I'll be taking pictures later on. When I get done, I'll be snapping some pictures for you guys this morning. Bright red Chevy pickup. Boy, a bright red. Wow. It's really pretty though. Over here we have Cutlass. Look at that interior. Oh, yeah, beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful interior. Yeah, just gorgeous. They got the old air conditioner under the dash. That's what I remember. The air conditioner under the dash. That's when they made dashes. A real dash, not like what they make today. As you tell, I'm not real fond of the newer cars. I like the older style cars, but I'm old, so that makes sense. Okay, we're going to keep going here, and here the next car we got is a Chevrolet pickup. Boy, look at the chrome on that. Oh my gosh, that chrome is just shining. I could just kick myself. I had in the, oh gosh, I can't remember what year it was, probably 70s. I had one just like, pretty much just like this. Of course, it wasn't this pretty, but I could have made it that way if I kept it, but I just didn't keep anything I had back then. Boy, that dash is just beautiful. Look at that wood grain bed there. Really nice. I've had some really nice vehicles in my day, but I just didn't keep them. I just did not keep them. Okay, well, we're going to go on. Good morning. And here we have a little Chevelle. Looks like the little, looks like they got Arizona plates. Okay. Yep. This is a 1964 Nova. Okay. And it's for sale, $25,000. Guarantee it'd be better than all the junk they're building today. And here you go. Looks like this is the last car in this area, but by no means the last car. I just meant on this block. This is a Ford Deluxe. I tell you what, you couldn't have asked for a better day for a car show. It is just beautiful. Not a cloud in the sky. Very, very little wind. A little bit of wind, but most certainly not real bad. Oh, there's an old sign: Rose Hill Bank, Lake Point Interest Bank, Red Brick District. That may not come out on the camera. That old ghost sign up there. Let's see if I can walk around this tree. Looks like they got a parking area. Maybe. Don't know if it's for public use or not. Red Brick District, established 1868. I'll have to get a picture of that. Okay, well, let's go back. We're just going to kind of take our time. We got plenty of time. But like I say, these old classics keep coming in. So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know how the day is going to go yet. I may not have to stay till 1 p.m. Later on this evening, they're going to have live band. They're going to have, of course, food and all that. But that don't start till like 7 o'clock this evening. I won't be staying for that. But yeah. Let's go over here. We'll walk at the crosswalk as there's still vehicles driving up and down there. Main Street this morning. They probably won't block it off till 1 o'clock. But that's okay. You just have to be real careful and watch for cars. While we're filming cars, here comes another couple of old classics. Super Sport Camaro coming down the street. And there's another truck, Twisted Oz Museum. I've been to that here in Augusta. If you love motorcycles, I want to tell you something. That Twisted Oz Museum is the place you need to go visit. It's very, very nice. Well, we may have to walk back down the street here. Already having a hard time keeping up with the cars pulling in this morning. All right, I tell you what, they're going to have to get situated and get set up and everything. I'll come back and we'll take a look at that gold truck with Twisted Oz on it. Like I said, if you love motorcycles, that is the place to go. I've been there and experienced that, and it's a very nice museum. In fact, I think they got 2 buildings, if I remember right. Yep. Yeah. What I might do when I get all the way done, for now, I'll just take a little break and I'll probably grab some pictures. I found some YouTube videos about this and just kind of got a feel for what it's going to be and all that, and I lucked out this morning. Found a nice parking place, but see, later on today they'll probably all be gone. There'll be no more parking places. I don't think I've ever just walked down there Main Street before. But we'll go down one side and then we'll come back up the other. It looks like it goes down at least 2 more blocks. A lot bigger than what I had anticipated, but that's okay. That's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm glad it is a larger car show. Wasn't that far from home, about, I don't know, 30-40 minutes from home or something like that. The Firebird there with the eagle on the hood. Have to get like kind of glare, but maybe you can see that eagle. Yeah, very nice. Well, they got the seat belts and the brakes for speed, and it looks like it is made for speed. Yeah, I'm kind of glad I did get here early this morning. This building here is a very unique. I'm going to show you this building just real quick. It's got a 1918 date on it. A very, very beautiful old building. And here you go. Here's another. This is a little bit easier to see. It's kind of in the shade a little bit. And here you go, GTO Pontiac with the white interior. Oh, this is you actually win this vehicle. Drawings will take place Thursday. Oh, it's already 2026. Thursday, March 19th, 2026 will be when the drawing is held. And look at the interior. Isn't that beautiful? Just beautiful. Yeah. There's an old movie theater across the street. And it simply says Augusta on old movie theater. It says closed for WFO Guys Car Show. I recognize that car. That's usually at the last run every year. It's still an active theater, it looks like. Yep, there's our old theater. And another Trans Am over here. Yep, with the eagle on it. Yeah, definitely going to have to. Oh, look at this one. Here you go, 1978 Pontiac Trans Am. Look at that, beautiful. I might have already seen these at the the car show there in Wellington. This is a lot fancier than what they used for the rock profiles, but it's the same kind of car, except it didn't have the wheels and didn't have the eagle on the hood. And here's another Pontiac. And another Trans Am. It's got those LED type headlights. That's been added on. Of course, another Eagle on the hood. Yep, very nice. Yep. Another red Trans Am. Boy, look at those wheels on that. Really nice. The interior is really, really nice too. Yeah, really nice interior. It's got a big air breather, 455. Looks like it might all be stock except for the air breather. And here's the 1966 Ford Mustang. I was 10 years old. Yeah. Boy, really nice engine. Here's a Monte Carlo. It's got the spoiler on the back. And that is definitely not a stock engine, but that's okay. That's all good. I bet this will get up and run though. Betcha. I betcha. Well, my folks had a Monte Carlo. Of course, it wasn't all souped up like this is. But, yeah. Okay, let's go look at this Bel Air. Bel Air Chevy. Got the airplane style hood ornament on it. Here you go. Here's Corvette. Oh, sitting over here. I'm not sure what year it is, but that is definitely a Corvette. Yeah. Okay, we'll go on. Okay. Malcolm Construction. The building's got a 1918 date stamp on it. Augusta Gold Mart. There may be two businesses in here. Augusta Gold Mart and then the McCollum Construction. All right. Okay. I don't think I've ever really walked down downtown Augusta. Here, this beautiful. Okay, well, let's go down here to the next block. A Rexall Cooper drugstore. Winfield used to have a Rexall drugstore. Okay, well, let's go on down. It's really nice right now. They're not playing any loud music. I'm hoping they don't. They may not start that till 1 p.m. And like I say, I just don't know. I'll probably stay around. I don't know yet. It just depends on, you know, it just depends on how things goes this morning. If I've seen most of it or all of it by that time, well, that may be it for the day. I just don't know yet. Well, let's go on down. It says there's the world famous Sugar Shane's Cafe. I've seen that online, looked at it, their prices and such. The sugar part's what scares me though, because we're not supposed to have not any sugar, or very, 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 very little sugar. So, I don't know. Never been in there. They've got the blue headlights, or the blue ring around the headlights. Let's look at this engine here just real quick. Oh yeah. Yeah, nice engine. Yeah. Yeah, really nice interior. There's another GTO. And of course, Chevy 4-door hardtop Impala. All the windows completely rolled down. That's why it's called the hardtop. Impalas were always my favorite. And I had an Impala when I was a kid. Yeah. Another GTO here. Yep. Really nice white interior. It's got the red white walls. Red walls, I guess. Anyway, okay. And I've seen this pickup before. In fact, I think I've seen it in Wellington, 1953 F100. I'm pretty sure. So I remember the do not step sign on the running boards. Yep. Yeah, that's what it is. 1953 Ford. Boy, that's got a big engine in it. My goodness. Do not step. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw this in Wellington here a few weeks ago at their Wheat Festival car show. About didn't. It's just a wonder I found the car show. They moved it, but failed to. Oh, there's an eagle on the radiator. They failed to mention that. I found it. There's a Bel Air Chevy, of course. Station wagon. I think this is a Nomad. The Nomads came out before station wagons. Yeah. I've got a car collection, and one of mine is a Chevy Nomad. They got the seats laid down right now. That is really beautiful. I like the way those windows open. That's just really cool. And we got a little coupe. Have a dark green coupe over here. There's a bright red Chevy. We'll get here in a minute. There again. Really nice interior. Oh. Boy, I love those seats in that. Wow. That is really nice. All this, of course, has been modified. Got the transmission on the shifter on the floor. Automatic, but it's on the floor. We got the wood grain bed. (1964) C10 custom, and there's what it looked like, and then there's what they made it into. Oh, I've seen this before. They got a bar that you can hook up that connects so it don't go open all the way. Yeah, looks like they got a little park in there. I'm gonna have to go there and take a look at it. Looks like there's somebody in there working. Please see hostess for outdoor seating. It says no outside food or drink allowed. Surf club parking only. Oh, okay, I see what it is. Okay. Oh, all right. Oh, check this out. Have an open-aired place to have a drink or whatever. Got a basketball game playing. Aloha says, come again. I like that rock, I'm trying to say, that stone wall there. I bet that's original. That looks really cool. It looks like it's Hawaii or theme based. Yep. This might be part of the, no, I don't know. Oh, this is part of Sugar Shane's Cafe. Okay, this is part of it right here. Now see, I did not know this was even here. Yeah, Sugar Shane's Cafe. It's got this little area here. It's all open right now, but imagine it, it closes up when they're closed, but it's all open right now. Okay, see there again, I didn't know that was even here. And I think this is part of it too, right here. They've got the hoop tea, spiked iced tea. Yeah, well, that is a pretty large outfit. Got all the chairs and picnic benches and wow. Got like a football field, artificial turf there. That's pretty cool. Of course, it's all locked up. But there's another original wall, I bet you, right over there. There used to be, more likely there was a building here at one time. And they got the these palm trees. I don't know that these I don't think these are real. I've seen very similar palm trees like this at the Kansas State Fair. Okay, well, I guess I'd better get back out and start looking at the cars again. This says Red Bud Brewing, and there again they've got the looks like the original wall on the inside. That is just so cool. Yep. Yep, that is really cool. See if we can kind of maybe just get a little peek. Yeah, look at that. That is really cool. And of course another train. Some people are bothered by lawnmowers and weed eaters and leaf blowers. It seems my thing is trains. Okay, well let's get back to our car viewing here. Just trying to show you parts of downtown Augusta here. Well, I love this. This is really nice. Wow. Look at that engine. Oh my gosh. It's beautiful. Yeah, really nice interior. There's a Ford pickup. Yep. They got the dark blue with the fenders being a kind of a flat black fenders. And okay. Here you go. This is another. This might be a drag. I think it is a drag racer because they've got the seats, safety seats where you buckle yourself into. And there's some kind of a shifter. It's probably for. And then they got the roll cage and everything in it. And then they got the big slicks or whatever on the back end. Oh yeah, this is definitely a racer. Definitely. All right. Another little coupe here. I love those wheels. Really nice. Nice. It's kind of a deep, maybe purple, maybe. Really can't tell. But I love those wheels. Look at that. Wow. Really, really nice. Yep. It's kind of hard to see. Okay, well, let's go on down. That's got a 1906 date on it, date stamp on it, 1906, that building. We might kind of do some buildings too as we walk down. Park Bench Brewing Company. That makes the second brewing company I've seen here in downtown Augusta. And they have the Yacht Club, Health Technologies. Okay. And here's a bright red Chevy pickup. I want to show you guys something. Look at the size. Look at the size of that engine. Oh, that is crazy. Boy. Man. That is crazy. Really beautiful. And I like that wood panel, that wood grain in the bed of the truck. And here's another, look at this. Look at that engine in this. My goodness gracious. Yep. And then here's another little coupe vehicle. Got the suicide doors on it. And the bright red Bel Air Chevy with all the chrome. Really nice. There's a Bronco Ranger XLT. I always liked these. I always wanted one. Never had been able to get one, but I've had friends that's had them. But these are really, really. Some of these toppers back here can be removed. Now I don't know about this one, but I had a friend of mine that had one, and you could take this topper off. I don't think they're real easy to take off and put back on again, because we had a hard time taking the silly thing off and putting it back on again. All right, well, let's go on. I think we still got another block or two to go. Much, much larger than what I had thought. Of course, there's a Ford Mustang. And here's a Chevy. Oh, Chevy. Yep. Got the bird type of a hood ornament on it. This is a 1950 Chevrolet or Chevy, whichever you prefer. Deluxe. Chevy Deluxe. And here's a Catalina Pontiac. And I got it all fixed up now on the inside. Take a look around. Looks like that's all original engine. Let's go around here and see what they got on the inside. They got a lot of things going on there on the dash. Yep, that's different. And here they got again, they got a lot of things going on the back dash there. Route 66 sign, that's cool. I looked this up on those up on Amazon. You can get those things all day long. They got the Tiger in the trunk there. Yep. Yep. Oh wow, look at this. Oh, check this out. My goodness. That is beautiful. Look at this. No water pump, no fuel pump, no oil pump, no driver's door, no bumpers, no stoplights, tail light only, no front or rear wheel brakes. Braking done by bands in the planetary transmission. Boy, howdy. Wow. Okay. Yeah, pretty basic. $1923. It says tag says 1923. Boy. And I'm assuming that this is a convertible by the looks of things. They got the wood spoke wheels. Wow. And there's another bright red Chevy. This was supposed to look like the old 1950s style Chevys. The pickups, I mean. Yeah. I don't think they made very many of these.
That for you too?
Yes, sir. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to go on. Some people asked me about our channel and what I did and where I went and been and all that, and we just talked for a little bit, had a little chat. They're just friendly, and I asked them what the WFO meant, and they come up with several. What I want to say, titles, and none of them were appropriate. So anyway, we'll just leave it at that. Oh, green interior. Oh, look at the middle of that that column. Isn't that cool? I like that. That's pretty cool. I've never seen that before. That's really different. And of course, this is a Chevy. I had several old Chevys when I was a kid growing up. I had a Bel Air, had an Impala, and I had a Biscayne. But the Biscayne, it does not have a lot of chrome. Well, it has really no chrome at all, but that was one of the more dependable cars that I had. Boy, look at this thing. This car's a block long. Look at this. This is a Newport Custom. Look at this thing. It's huge. Two-door hardtop, I do believe. Look at that. That's crazy. Newport Custom. That is one huge car. Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm trying to determine what's going on here. Okay, I'm not sure. All right, well, I'm going to go on across the street. I think it's all right. And here's Miller's 5 drive-in. I've never been here. I know it's been here for years and years and years, and I don't know if it's even in operation anymore. It could be, but there again, I don't know. Called Miller's 5. Yeah, never been here. It's still, yeah, I don't know. Oh, look at that old Pepsi Cola. I don't think it's old, it's a replica, but look at that. Pepsi Cola. A knuckle drink worth a dime. That was their slogan. Probably can't see that because it's kind of glary. Help Miller's 5 thrive. There's an older picture of it. They might be, I don't know. It's got, looks like it may be still be in business. Miller's 5 all-day breakfast menu. Sausage, egg, and cheese muffin, $4. Bacon, egg, and cheese muffin, $4. And sausage and cheese muffin is $3. Okay, well that's cool. I had no idea. Currently they're closed. They're open Tuesday through Saturday, it says, from 11:30 to 7, and then Friday to Saturday, 11:30 to 7:30. Okay. And here are some signs about the car show I'm at today. WFO guys car show. Okay, so let's go on. They got another outdoor seating area for alcoholic beverages. So we're gonna go on and look at this white Chevelle 68 Malibu, it says. Boy, that's really pretty. Yeah. Boy, nice. Okay.
I had a little thing going down there the wrong wagon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here we go, 1972.
It ain't the same.
Monte Carlo.
It's not bad though.
Really nice cars. And here's a big sign. I'll show you here in a minute. Yeah. Downtown Augusta, 30th annual WFO car show. And this establishment over here is called the Look Who Hopped Into Town Green Frog Brewery. That makes the third one I've seen. 1869 cream ale, $4 a pint. Okay, that's the third one brewery I've seen here in downtown Augusta. And it says they're open too. Okay, well that's cool. A little yellow roadster with the flames on it. And look at this engine, really souped up there now. Wow, nice. Kind of reminds you of Happy Days and American Graffiti and all that. Yep. Oh, look here, a little Ford Falcon. Boy. Well, convertible, of course. Wow. Boy, really nice. Wow. Okay, have to. The 442 Oldsmobile. Welcome to the Holiday Bowl. Now open for lunch, Wednesdays 11 to 3. I guess it's still a bowling alley. Welcome to the Holiday Bowl. Bloody Mary, grab and go. Welcome to the WFO breakfast. They got a breakfast menu. Okay, pancakes, burritos, biscuits and gravy. Oh, cool. Yep. Yep. Okay. What a nice engine. This is really quite the car show. I had no idea. This is one of the rare ones I've never heard of. Usually I know about all the local car shows. I've not ever heard. 30 years I've never known about it till just earlier this year I found out by accident. So here we are.
How you doing, brother?
An old Jeep. Willie's Jeep.
Man, this place, I got here at 9 o'clock. Yeah.
Bronco. Another Bronco.
Your car was white. Man, I love that color. We'll go register there.
Trans Am. Another Jeep. Another Corvette. Oh, another big engine. Yeah. Another Pontiac. Boy, this is quite a bit larger than what I had thought. Oh, look at that Impala Chevy. Wow. It looks like that's all, well, it might have some, the valve covers may be newer chrome. There again, two-door hardtop. It may take me all day to just get the pictures of all these. There's a ton. And there's more coming in. Mercy, well, I'll get my exercise today. No doubt about that.
Kind of miss out on everything, don't you?
Yeah, you do a little bit. Stuff that you know after a while you get like
Dodge. Dodge Challenger. I think we finally got all the way to the end on this side anyway. We'll have to go back up the other side. Yeah. Mustang. Yep. We've been coming to Augusta for years and years and years and years and years, and I've never been to this museum. Not ever. Well, I keep saying we're going to go down here and take a look at it, and we never do. I keep saying one of these days, and there's our little, well, that's really cool. I may have to stop to get a picture of that before I go back up on the other side. That's really cool. Kind of like a roundabout. I know I voiced this opinion before on roundabouts. I do not care for roundabouts at all. I know they're real prevalent these days, they're everywhere. But anyway, what can you do? Yep, I'll just take some pics of this real quick. That's pretty cool. There's a little building down there. I don't know if that's a part of the museum or not. It might be. Well, okay. I think I want to jump off this for a second and take a few pictures. We'll be back in just a little bit. All right, took a few pictures while I'm on this end of Main Street. There's a Buick Riviera. Boy, that's sharp. I like that. Of course, I like them all. Here's a Sierra Grande GMC. Got the roll bars in the back. 1500. Very big pickup. Yep, I like that classic style, that classic design. And there again, they just don't build them like they used to down here. Boy, between the trains and the Everything else just noisy down here. Like a train to like every 5 minutes. That's crazy. GTO Pontiac. Oh well, that's the way it goes. It's got a sparkly paint job to it. Pontiac 455. Boy, nice. I gotta be careful here. It'll fall. Yep. I had a friend of mine in high school that had one of these. He used to go drag main and stuff, you know, in it. Drag main. Yep. Yeah, really nice. Another Firebird. Cutlass Oldsmobile. Firebird. The black interior. 1967. Well, doggone it. Good thing I'm using my microphone today, because I tell you what, the trains have been killing me today. I didn't know they had so many trains come through here. Man, crazy. Well, that's the way it goes. Alright. Yeah, I'll have to come down here and go to this museum sometime. Never been built in 18, what did I say? C.M. James Trading Post, built in 1868. Yeah. Okay. Here's a little Impala. Now this looks like the Impala that I had. But mine wasn't a 2-door. It was a 4-door. But it does look just identical to what I had, except mine was kind of a bluish color. But other than that, you see, I had the chrome wheels. They were just like regular wheels, but they were made, but they'd been chromed. That's what I had. Now I had a Buick Special one time, 2-door, and I put baby boomers trim rings on that and chrome exhaust as well. Yep, brings back memories. Had one very similar to that one back in the day. All right, well, let me see what time it is. Okay, it's only 10 o'clock. We got plenty of time. Hopefully it won't be a while before they start playing loud music. You know, that's just, you know, the hazards of car shows and that sort of thing. I've been to very, very, very few car shows that did not have or play loud music. Now the one in Wellington, they did not have loud music playing. But they may not till 1 o'clock. Well, by 1 o'clock, I might be done with this. Here's 72 Chevy, Cheyenne. Yeah, they got the runner in it, the plastic runner. Boy, nice. Brings back a lot of memories. Camaro Super Sport. Another Camaro Super Sport. When I get this side done, I might just have to stop and get the pics. Here's an Oldsmobile Cutlass. I had an Oldsmobile Cutlass. Super Sport Chevelle. I think within the early to mid 80s I had a Cutlass. It was bright yellow, really nice car. I just love that car. Okay, hold on just a second.